What if Britain's Chancellor, the person meant to safeguard the nation's finances, was now the one accused of driving them deeper into chaos? That's exactly the storm surrounding Rachel Reeves today, and the story is as dramatic as it gets. Stay with me, because this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about trust, power, and the very future of the UK economy. When Reeves took office, she inherited a black hole in the public finances of around £22 billion. A daunting challenge, yes, but manageable with the right strategy. Yet instead of closing that gap, it has reportedly ballooned to almost £50 billion. This year alone, Britain is on track to borrow £126 billion. So here's the question. How sustainable is this borrowing? And more importantly, who will pay the price? Her attempts to cut costs backfired spectacularly. Plans to scrap the winter fuel payment for most pensioners collapsed under public outrage. Proposals to tighten disability benefits ended in humiliating U-turns. At that moment, many asked, can the Chancellor even deliver on her own promises? Or is she already out of her depth? Her credibility took another blow when she was forced to bring in Torsten Bell to draft a second budget after her first one was labeled a disaster. Critics dismiss him as tax-obsessed and out of touch. And here's something worth asking. If Reeves cannot manage a budget alone, how long before Keir Starmer decides she cannot manage the Treasury at all? Behind the scenes, the Prime Minister is said to have lost confidence. Instead of relying solely on his Chancellor, he has surrounded himself with outside experts to keep her on a tight leash. What does that say about leadership inside Number 10? Is Starmer preparing to act or simply buying time? Meanwhile, Britain's business community is turning away from Reeves. Companies are struggling with rising employment costs, shrinking profit margins, and policies that many believe push them to the brink. Reports suggest her budget has already destroyed over 174,000 jobs. So let me ask you, if jobs are vanishing and costs are rising, how long before ordinary workers feel the full weight of this economic experiment? And it doesn't stop there. Angela Rayner's proposed employment rights bill could make hiring even more expensive unless Starmer steps in to block it. But would that spark an internal labor battle? Could Starmer afford to alienate one of his strongest allies just to contain Reeves's crisis? Within the cabinet, tensions are boiling. Ministers are fiercely protecting their own budgets, knowing that deep cuts could damage their careers. No one is eager to sacrifice their department for Reeves's fiscal plans. So here's the dilemma. If the cabinet itself refuses to play ball, how can the Chancellor possibly restore stability? At this stage, Reeves is left pleading with colleagues for scraps, searching for loose change that might somehow add up. But would you expect ambitious Labour MPs, many of whom campaigned on promises of generous spending, to suddenly embrace austerity? Isn't that precisely what they fought against during years of Conservative rule? This is where the political drama collides with economic reality. Backbench Labour MPs didn't join the party to talk about balanced budgets or bond yields. They joined to fund public services, invest in communities, and deliver applause-winning policies. But here's the catch. The days of easy money are over. Global markets are watching closely, and they're already demanding a higher premium to lend to Britain. Do you think investors trust Labour to spend wisely, or do they sense weakness at the very top? Rachel Reeves seems to have realized this. She now speaks the language of investors, not activists. She knows that in today's economy, the bond market holds the real power. But here's the fatal twist. Every time she tries to act responsibly, her own party shoots her down. How can she possibly win if she's fighting both the markets and her colleagues? So where does this end? The image is brutal. A chancellor with a begging bowl, rattling it in Whitehall, hoping someone might drop a few coins in. Will Labour ministers ever come to her rescue? Or will they let her fail to protect their own political futures? And the biggest question of all, how long will Keir Starmer keep a chancellor who is accused of losing the confidence of businesses, the markets, her colleagues, and even her own prime minister? Is he willing to take the gamble of standing by her? Or will he eventually cut her loose to save himself? One thing is certain. Britain's economic credibility is on the line. And in the coming weeks, Rachel Reeves' survival might just determine whether Labour can hold the trust of the country or whether the UK's financial turmoil will spiral even further. Sources: The Telegraph, The Guardian, Financial Times.